Okay, on this pattern that was made for the classroom, there is a fisheye dart in the front. If you're doing a baggier jacket or a men's jacket, you can eliminate this dart. If you want to sew the dart, mark it from the pattern, and what it is going to be is a regular fisheye dart starting a 1/2 inch above, ending a 1/2 inch below, and I'm going to go out 3/4 at the center. So I'll go ahead and put this in place now. On one side, the other side is already done. So 1/2 inch above. Find my middle at the waist, and I'm going to go out 3/4. See the 3/4 mark here, and then I'm going to go down past this mark, bring it back down at a 1/2 inch past. Now you can do the width of your dart can be narrower or wider, so you would want to try it on, get your measurement at your waist, and adjust your dart accordingly. Okay, so if your fit's really close, just do that dart real small or not at all. I'm not adding pockets today, but if I were, this would be a good time to add my pockets. And with the sleeve, I'm going to show you now how that sews together with the line. So you want right sides to right sides. And you're going to place the right side of the sleeve inside the lining. And you're going to match up your seams, your underarm seams. Okay, these are to be pressed flat, and it's 1/2 inch all the way down. This is the fastest way to make a hem. Easy. And there's a pressing tool for this if you want to use that with the iron. I recommend it. I'm going to show that in a little while, how to use those tools if you haven't already. And now I can bring this up. And then also to once that's up equal with the shoulder allowance, I'll go over to the iron and I'll press in that hem. It'll be nice and clean. Okay, so the last step is we've got the shoulder pads, we've got everything. If you're going to add any additional detail or pockets, you would do that now. And the last step is adding the facing piece to, or the lining piece to the facing. So you put it right sides together. The pleat on the jacket is the side that is, the side that extends underneath has the longer piece, and the side that is actually folded is this. So my folded side is this piece, so I have the shorter side here, okay? And then my pleat is going to that side. Okay. So I'm going to start with the center back and the center back of my facing. And I'll stitch this. You can stay stitch this, because I'll do it right now because I haven't stay stitched it, but I'm going to center back here. I'm sorry, center back is the pleat itself. start stitching here, though, to hold it. And it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, so all your lining seams are a 1/2 inch. And in my lining, I'm not doing the dart. I'm going to let that just be free because it gives you better movement. If you were to do the dart, it wouldn't hurt, but it isn't necessary. And you're going to take this lining. I've already put that little turn back hem in there. You're going to take this lining all the way to the bottom. And I'm not going to turn it all yet, but you can see now this is all finished clean. Okay, you would do the same thing on the other side. Go back to the center, go back to the hem. Now, with respect to the sleeve, I'm going to go in and pull at my lining now from the sleeve. And this sleeve is going to attach right sides together to this armhole, right? Not this way. You don't want raw edges. You want it all to be clean. So the only way to get to that is for me to come up through my hem and then sew this sleeve into that cap. All right? So I'm going to start doing that right now. And on the other side's the same. Again, marking the underarm seam together, starting there, and easing that sleeve cap at the top. And again, I'm using contrast thread so you can see it in the pictures, but you would use matching thread. Your sleeves, all your seams should be pressed flat. Press it flat. Make your notches so you have the ease distributed right.
However many was it?
And so this, maybe a little pepper there, but I'm trying to avoid that. Okay, so so now half the jacket is lined. So what you're gonna do, you'll have this nice and clean. You won't see any seams. You're repeating to the other side the same thing, and then when all is done, you take this and you create your hem. So I'll do that on this side, and because this is the side with the extension, I should be able to get up all the way into this with my lining. If for some reason maybe your lining was cut a little short or whatever, if it's too big it won't matter, but if it's short it's going to pull the jacket out. So you might want to take your time and do it by hand. Okay, I'm going to do it this side by the machine so you can see it. And then this is the side that was cut away, so it has the fold back. So this is going to finish with this. The shorter side is going to finish with the part that's turned back. Okay? So we're going to finish this. Now, there are other ways to do the lining. Some people have a technique where instead of going up through the bottom, they open part of the side seam and they go in and they sew the lining that way. If you're really, really good, it'll work. And if your pattern is perfect and all your seams are perfect, it will work. However, if you start altering your fittings and everything, it's going to be more easy to access through the hem and get in there. You have a much bigger space to work. So always do the hem last, get your fit and everything. But if you're doing like a production one where you don't have fittings, then you're just going to go ahead and you're going to sew the linings. I'm going to go down here now to the bottom and attach my lining to the bottom of the material. Flatten this out. And usually when you're doing this type of a tailored jacket, you know, in mass production they have just as many different ways of doing things, but again, they're going to finish it. They're not going to leave anything open to alter. But if you're doing custom tailoring, you want to do fittings because it's an expensive garment. And the tailors that work in the department stores, oops, I lost my thread, they're going to go into a finished garment. They know, you know, how to access it, where to open up the linings and so forth. Have you ever bought, like in a menswear department, a suit with the tailoring? Has anyone worked with a tailor like that? Yeah, so they are completely finished garments. The only thing usually they may not have is the hem length on the pant. Usually they have the jacket finished. But if they were to go in and make the jacket to fit your measurements, they usually go up through the hem and they hand sew the hem finished. So the traditional finishing method would come apart pretty easily. It's the mask. I don't know why it is I can thread machine better without a mask. Are we at that date yet where we don't have to wear them, or? That's the 10th. There was some announcement on Canvas or on the Outsap website that there's a date where they're not going to wear them anymore. I don't know if they redid that since COVID's out there again. I wear them anyway, especially right now. I still have my sniffles.
Yeah. I think.
Ah, yeah.
All your seams should be aligned. The lining again is a little bit bigger than the jacket, so you might have to ease a little bit in to make them match, but you want them to match.
With your openings in the elbows, she made a shirt for a pattern making, she has openings in the elbows. I like it.
Okay, and then that will pull up your hem. Now you might have to do a little bit of hand stitching in the corners to get everything to finish, but this will pull up your hem. Now what I'm gonna do, just as one more step, is a video for the website with the iron and the hams, the tailor's hams. So if you can follow me, Valerie, with that camera, I'll get to that. Okay. So previously we had, I had shown a few students the arm ham, right? So when you're doing your sleeve, you put your sleeve in here and press your seams flat. Then when you're all done, you can also press your sleeve that way. You don't want to get a crease on the arm. So when you're pressing, you know, normally like with a shirt, you just press it flat, but you don't want to get that with a suit. So when you press, you insert that and then you press completely with this inserted. Okay, so your whole sleeve is going to get a nice round press. Then the same thing that we do the bottom, since this side is attached now. One of the things that I also want to point out, this is loose from the sleeve here is loose from the rest of it. If you want to stabilize it and just hand tack it here, then that way your lining won't like fold down accidentally if something gets kind of weird there. So now that that's in place, I'm going to go ahead and pull up a little bit more here. You know, press my hem the same way all the way around. Okay, so that's the arm press. Now this other ham, have you guys used this type of ham before? What it does is you can also press the whole jacket in parts with this, but especially this area. So your chest area in the true tailor suit that has all those layers of facing and interfacing and horsehair and all that, they would do this. They would get a nice smooth edge with the tailor's ham and then roll this as well. So you can get a nice roll on your collar first, like this. Oops, I just squirted myself. And then when you're ready for what's called the break point of your collar, you find out where that is, and then you can press that in as well on a rounded shape. Okay, and then that way you get that nice, you know, the way that the collar lays on the jacket, it comes out a lot nicer. All right, thank you.